Okay.
Do that.
So you might have to come closer.
Okay.
And everybody might have to come closer. If you could just stand.
Like sardines.
Yeah, if you could stand there, that'd be awesome. Perfect. Is everybody okay if I film this? It's going to go on YouTube.
Yep.
Can I have somebody who would feel comfortable holding the camera? Can somebody do that for me? So this is a Porter Vanguard manifold, and what it does is it's an automatic changeover manifold. So inside you have a couple of solenoids, one for each gas. Each tank has its own solenoid. So what you do then is you have to keep all of the tanks open at the same time, and when one runs out, it closes that tank and opens the other tank. So you don't have to remember when you hear the alarm to come back and turn something on or off. You just have to keep working. But when you see that it's changed over because there's a blinking light, then you have to call and order more gas. Okay, so green is like a light. You come up to a light, you can drive right through it, no problem. Blue is the color you would be if you drove up to a nitrous tank and breathed the nitrous by itself. You have to have oxygen, or that's the color you're going to turn out. So always have to have oxygen with nitrous. I pulled this off to make sure that those little caps are not installed, because those are for when you do the pressure test to make sure that the gas doesn't leak out, but a lot of times they leave them in and then it doesn't work. So I'm making sure that they're gone.
Is that pressure test something that we need to repeat on a regular basis?
No, just like when you move in, they do a pressure test on the lines to make sure that everything is not leaking. And after that, they take out those little caps, they put them in there. And in the event you moved or you had to test the system again for leaks, then you could do that with those little caps and screw them back in. So they leave them inside on that ledge. These tanks are restrained by tank restraints. That's important because this is 2000 or 2200 full PSI. We don't want them to fall over and this to break off. So that's why we keep the tanks restrained. And if for some reason the people who come in and change it leave it like this, just make sure you put it back. And it's attached to the wall safely. Okay, so 2,000 pounds or 2,200 pounds of pressure, half full is 1,100, right, or 1,000. If the nitrous reads 650 to 750 full, what would you think a half full tank would be of that?
350.
Right? There's math people here today, so you do the math. But that's a perfect way to walk right into the trick question, because it's a liquid gas. Everybody would think the same thing, that it should be halfway down if it's halfway empty, but it's really going to stay at full all the time until the day that it runs out. Then it's going to go from full to empty. So how do we know how much is in there? The ratio is 1, 2, 3, 4 to 1. So if you keep track, and I've got a little sheet that you can post up on the door that shows what the date was, what tank was replaced, who did it, so you can blame somebody if there's an empty. But you can write down oxygen, 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 and then when the nitrous runs out one day, yesterday it was full, today it's empty, oh, we did 4 oxygen or thereabouts, 3, 4, 5, somewhere thereabouts, not 1 to 1. Okay, and there's a copier in here so you can scan it into your computer and just print these out.
I have a question about that ratio.
Yep.
When we're doing moderate sedation, we'll be running oxygen the whole time and 0 nitrous for most of it.
Yep.
So is our ratio going to be different?
It might be 8 or 9 to 1 or 10 to 1. So
we just kind of got to guess and check over time.
Yeah, the only way to tell what's in there is to weigh it empty and full and in between. Nobody's going to do that. So if you know it's not 1 to 1, then you're in good shape. You're in better shape than if you thought, oh, it should be running out at the same time as the oxygen. It's not going to do that. And especially since you're using a lot of oxygen, it's going to run out even slower.
Well, there's 2 tanks, so once one is empty, we should be calling for more.
Exactly.
So we should never run out of oxygen or nitrous, because when the first tank of either is empty, you call for a delivery.
Exactly. That's exactly the case. So you see the lights up here indicate what the tank's so you have tank 1 and tank 2 of N2O, nitrous oxide. Tank 1 and tank 2 of oxygen, and the hoses follow the numbers. So 1 is 1 and 2, 1 and 2. If you follow it over, they're in the correct position, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. So when the tank that's being drawn from, which is the lit light, it's drawing from 2. So right now it's drawing from this one and this one. We have all 4 turned on. So when this tank runs out, which is going to be the first to run out, the gauge will go down on this. You have it open, but the gauge is going to go down to 0. Then this gauge is going to go down. And once it gets past that little green line, it's going to wait about 30 seconds, and then it will close that tank with the solenoid we looked at earlier and open the other solenoid and then start drawing from this tank. So that's why we have to have all 4 tanks turned on, waiting. What happens then is when the gas runs out and it switches over, this is going to start to blink. You're going to get an alarm at the alarm panel. You're also going to have these same lights on the alarm panel. So it's going to start to blink, and then it's going to change over to the other tank. The other tank is going to be solid lit, and this will keep blinking. The alarm will stop beeping, but the light will keep blinking. So that's your indicator that, hey, the tank is empty, let's call for a new one. What you would do though, before you order a new one, is you come back and look and say, okay, this tank is open and the gauge is at 0, so we confirm that yes, the tank is empty. It wasn't just an accident that it switched over. What do you think would be an accident? How would it switch over without running out?
Someone turned the tank off.
Somebody turned the tank off is a great option. There's another option that's more common. I really appreciate that. Another option that would be more common would be, any guesses?
Kinked hose.
Pardon me?
A hose kink.
A hose is kinked? That's a good question. I'm going to just tell you. So what happens is if somebody doesn't turn the gas on, they've got all the gases turned off, right? And the cleaning crew was in here all weekend getting a buzz, and nobody knew. So the gas tank here, it's empty here. So this is down on both. And you come in Monday morning and you push the alarm button first. And then you come back here and open up the tanks. Well, if this is down below the line, what does the machine think? The tank is empty, right? But is it? It's just turned off. So it's going to switch from the tank that it was drawing from to the other one. And you didn't run out of gas, but you have now a blinking light. So the way to prevent that would be to always turn the gas on before you push the button on the alarm panel.
Are they ever turning the tanks on and off?
At night.
We're supposed to come in here every night and turn all these tanks off?
Yes. NFPA code says because it's not flammable gas, but it's an accelerant, it's an oxidizer. So if you had a fire and it got into this room and it burned through this hose, then all of the gas would have to burn off. Because we had a fire here and we took oxygen or nitrous and blew it at the fire would be bigger. So the idea is that it would have to burn off before the firefighters could put out the fire. So turning this off at night, all 4 of them, and then turning off the alarm panel, because we want to make sure that if somebody was using it, obviously they're not going to be using it when you're turning it off, but you always want to have the pressure up on the tanks before you push the button.
So at the end of the night, they should be turn off all tanks and then turn off the alarm.
Exactly.
At the beginning of the day, they should turn on all tanks and then turn the alarm on.
You got it. That's exactly the case. And nobody will remember.
They better. I'm going to write it down.
I appreciate that you're going to write them
Yeah,
down. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people. Here's
Or you're going to give it to me. There you go.
This startup
look at
sheet.
that.
Wow.
We love that.
We got everything, don't we? And then, so you got your tank replacement sheets. You got a manifold startup, and then there's also a how to do the flow meter and the breathing circuit connections. So in case somebody forgets, I'm 3 hours from you. So This is your best friend.
You're next door. What do you mean?
Yes. Okay. All right, so we've covered oxygen, nitrous oxide, tank restraints, changeover, and the alarm, which we're going to go to next. What questions do we have about this that I might have passed over?
Righty tighty, lefty loosey, correct?
Righty tighty,
Yeah,
lefty loosey.
gotta make
Probably a
sure.
good idea to put that on the wall as well, because
Just have to make
so
sure.
righty means looking down on the top of the tank, turning it to the right. That's closing it. Loosey is left. And I don't want, it would be best if you do, okay, so let's start from closed. It's closed right now. We don't have to muscle it as hard as possible. You just want to close it. And then when you open it,
Look at me.
huh?
I usually.
They
put stuff
already
on.
called her out that
Yeah.
she might have an issue with that.
She's got the wrench and she's got a long bar.
You probably would.
All right, so we open one. If we open it one turn or a quarter turn like that, the gauge is going to come up, but we've restricted the flow because there's a needle valve in here that goes into a hole. We've let it come up just a little bit, but the gauge went up, but it's still restrictive. So we want to open a couple more turns. If we open it all the way to the other end as far as we can and make it tight, now somebody comes in and is not sure if it's open or closed, and they go to open it, it's just making it more tight open. So don't go all the way open, just go halfway open, but don't just come open a quarter turn like this, because the gauge will come up, but it's restricting. So give it a couple of turns and you're good. And then at the end of the day, off. All right. The other thing that you may experience is Monday morning you come in and there was a thunderstorm on the weekend and there was an electrical hiccup. This is a computer and it can go like this. So if nothing will work, the way to overcome that would be to unplug. Just pull it out of the wall, wait 1 minute, plug it back in, and that'll clear 90% of the problems. And now it's staying on 2 where it was before. That's the same if you have a tank replaced. So you're gonna replace this tank first because it's on 2. When they replace this tank and you have a blinking light and it's now pulling from 1, after they've replaced the tank, you would come back if they don't do it and push the reset button just once. It will take away the blinking light and leave it where it is. So if it was on 1 and this was blinking, when you hit that button, 1 will stay lit and the blinking light will go away. That's about it
When the
for
med
this.
gas people come to replace a tank, are they hooking it up or should we?
They should be hooking it up. They're going to unscrew here. Probably would be a good idea to have an adjustable wrench about this long in the tank room, just in case you needed to do something. Say the solenoid wasn't opening and you had a patient that you needed to see in 10 minutes. You can turn this off, make sure that's off, unscrew the regulator and move it to the tank that's full and put it back on if you needed to. Or if you ever had to change a tank on your own, it's good to have a wrench. Very good.
Okay.
Okay, so if no questions about this, let's move to the alarm panel, which is,
She wants to know, does this
Are
work?
either of these okay? Or you can get a
so
bigger
the
one?
adjustable is in your right hand and
Yeah.
you need one that's about this long.
So longer.
It's about 12 inches or 14 inches long, yeah. Because that probably won't open big enough to fit this nut. You can try it. Bang. Okay, maybe a liar, but
This works?
yeah, but yeah. I would have a bigger one, just a little bit more leverage.
Those are put on tight.
Yeah. Okay, let's.
Hold it.
Get bigger.
Thank you. What's your name?
I'm Phoebe.
Phoebe.
Yes.
I love that name.
Thank you.
Okay, so keep me in frame. Yep, alarm panel. Baby spot. How about that? Thank you. Perfect.
I feel like I get my angle.
All right, so this is the alarm panel. This is what you're turning on and off every day. Push the button once. The lights show that everything is working, and then it turns off. So we've done that. Now we're going back and we turn the tanks off at the end of the day. In the morning, we come in, we turn the tanks on. We push this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 seconds, or 6, 7 seconds. When you're turning it on, don't do, you know, oh, it's not on, because we're in a world where we want it really quick. So it does take a few seconds. But it mirrors everything that you see back there. Tanks, normal light, low, high, same over here. Blue means nitrous, green is oxygen. Silence is in the event that somebody didn't call when you had a blinking light here. Now it moved over here, you ran out of oxygen here. Now it's going like this. You can push the silence button and then pay the extra $500 for delivery from your gas tank. Any questions about this? All right, let's go to the operator.
Do they have any need? When would the emergency thing ever come into play? That's
Yes. Okay, so lift pointer. Thanks for pointing that out.
when would they ever need?
Theoretically, it's for fire code.
Okay.
In the event of a fire, you're going to run out of the building. Is there an exit right there?
Mhm.
Okay, so you're gonna go like this and pull the lever, and that shuts off the flow of oxygen and nitrous to the operatories,
Okay.
so that there would be less burning of,
Okay, so this has nothing to do with the alarm.
it's
To
an
us,
emergency.
this has to do with a emergency in the building,
Yeah,
a quick shut off.
a quick shut off.
Got it.
That's it.
Got it.
You'll never touch it,
Okay.
hopefully. Let's pray we never touch it. But that's what it's for,
Okay.
to shut off the gas flow to the operatories.
Okay.
It also is a reminder of what the pressure gauges say on the manifold. So you can see that they're in the right spot. All right, let's go to, can we go this way?
We can. This way though.
Oh. It's so big. It's so complex. What do you do? How many rooms are there?
25.
Poke your head into one of these. So pretty. Big. You have a Porter Flowmeter. I just tested a Porter Flowmeter a week ago that was 35. So it worked the same as when it was born. So they're a good product. They'll last for a long time. These tubes inside that the gas flows through are tapered on the inside. They're straight on the outside and tapered on the inside because the ball needs to be lifted by the gas and the gas has to flow past them. So they have to be very accurate. And they use a spindle that's made of stainless steel that is precisely designed so that when they put the glass tube on the spindle, they heat it from the bottom up and pull vacuum on it so that it forms around that spindle. They can only use it for maybe 100 tubes and then they have to make a new spindle. But they're so accurate that anesthesia machines sometimes are using Porter glass tubes. And Porter is owned by Parker Hannifin. They also, if you've ever been on a plane, the landing gear is a Parker valve. So they're a big deal. Worldwide, multi-billion-dollar company. So Porter's just a wee little blip of that. But they're in Hatfield, Pennsylvania too, close by. So have you ever used one of these, anybody?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. Very straightforward, very simple, on, off, oxygen / total flow. So this is green, but then you see green and blue over here. There's a flush button. And then this is all blue with blue and blue. And then oxygen quick disconnect. And this is the percentage of nitrous oxide. So when we turn this on, when you turn it, the oxygen on at first, you'll see that the ball is rising, and then it rises in the other tube, if you need more than 5. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 liters per minute of flow, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And over here is the same, but it goes up to 7 of nitrous oxide. The way it works is we're going to start somebody on oxygen only. The rule of thumb is 4, 5, 6 for kids, women, and men. That's approximately 80% of the people fall into that category. And this is all in the paperwork.
All right.
You don't have to worry about the notes if you don't want to. Feel free if you do. But for me, we would start at like 6 liters of oxygen. And then we're going to watch the bag to make sure that when I breathe in, the bag should move slightly, a little bit. Because the gas is coming from the bag into me through this mask. When you're set at the right flow rate, the bag will be refilled by the flow meter and it's going to come back up. So it's going to have some movement. It doesn't have to go flat and full, it just has to have something moving. So to demonstrate, before I've made sure all of these things work, watch the bag. When I breathe out, none of the gas is going back into the bag because there's a one-way valve inside of here to prevent that. We don't want to put carbon dioxide back into the bag. So that's it. It's just going to move a little bit. When we add the nitrous, say we went to 50% because the math is easy and everybody can understand half of the pie and half of the pie, oxygen nitrous. Now this becomes not just oxygen but / total flow. So we're going to turn this down and you watch the two balls will move together, keeping the percentage at 50%. So if we were now at 3 and 3, that's a total of 6. So 6 was working for me breathing just oxygen, and now that I've added the nitrous, we have to readjust. So we add whatever percentage of nitrous we want, and then we readjust the total flow until it's at the same amount that would make the bag move as it was when it was just oxygen. At the end, we turn the nitrous off. We've got 10 minutes left. Now we only have 3 liters of oxygen. We have to turn this back up. If it were 6, then we would go back to 6. And in the next 5 to 10 minutes, all of the nitrous is flushing out of the bag and out of the patient because it's not metabolized by the body, the nitrous oxide. So it comes in, it does its trick, and then it leaves. It's not really going in to be metabolized. So the patient can drive themselves home. If at some point, say you're flowing both gases, and 50% is the top end of the spectrum. I mean, you could go to 70, but the room's going to close in. Nobody will ever be passing out, right? You don't want that. So most people will get it between 15 to 45 all day long. If they say, oh, I get a 58% concentration, you might want to just make a note in your chart for drug seeking. But they shouldn't know. They shouldn't know how much percentage of nitrous they're getting. Oh, give me more. Yeah, okay, we got you. So if somebody starts to look like they're turning gray or something's wrong, blue, we want to turn off the nitrous and push the flush button, hit the auto return on the chair so the chair comes up, and then point their head towards whoever you aren't, in case they
And
throw
grab
up.
the trash can.
Yeah. And then
I'll hold that trash can.
you can push and hold the flush button, and that will give you 30 or 40 liters of oxygen continuous, and that will help in the situation. You hear the noise, that's not the gas. So let's turn off the suction for a second. We have the HVE, the high volume suction is the same size as this port on the bottom that accepts the vacuum. If we don't have it plumbed in to, like we talked about earlier in the cabinet, then we can always use the HVE just hooked on to the bottom there. But if we turned off the suction, look at the gas doesn't make any noise. I get calls a lot where people say, it's not working. Okay, show me the flow meter, let's FaceTime. Oh, well the ball's coming up. Yeah, but nobody, it's not working, there's no gas. I'm like, okay, I think there is. So what's happened is the suction is off or not connected, or there's something wrong with the AVS. It could be loose because the gas flows through this AVS, automatic vacuum system, and it turns on the suction. So you hear the suction come on, and then you don't have to remember to turn it on. You do have to look and make sure that this little sight glass ball over here, I'll show them. This sight glass with the ball in it should be adjusted, not at the top and not at the bottom, but right at the bottom of the green. There's a little green bar in there, and that way you're getting the correct amount. But when you turn it off, it shuts off. Thank you. Any questions on that? If you were using a different mask, say the disposable Silhouette, which is a one-time use, it's a low profile. This is the Silhouette mask, and it's a one-time use. It's a little different. The bag goes away, but you use a new set of tubing that looks familiar like this, but it's white. It's a two large and small tubing. One connects to the front and one connects to the suction, and at the other end they have a place where you can plug this in, right? But this piece would be disposable, the whole tubing and all. And the way it works is the gas comes up this way into a cannula into the nostril, and the suction comes out this way. And then there's some holes here for room air to be pulled in, and then a place for capnography, like if you're doing CO2 monitoring on your vital signs monitor, you can plug it right in there with a lure lock. So you go up in the nostril and over the ears and then under the chin, tighten it up. So it's a little smaller footprint than the bigger mask. I'm going to show you how that works too. That's an autoclavable mask. But this is, you know, they move around and they can work up in the front. It's pretty easy. This is the autoclavable version, and what comes with it. If you take off the mask because you're going to put it through the autoclave, it's a good idea to leave the couplers, these couplers, in the hood instead of in the hose, because if you're pulling it in and out of there all the time for years, then it could get stretched a little bit. It might fall out, and you can cut a ½ inch off of this and make it new, but you can't cut a ½ inch off of this. So if you leave the couplers, it's okay to send them through the autoclave. All of these pieces to this are autoclavable. This, the bag, the tubings, everything, if you wanted to. And you have to design that protocol for your specific office. Porter says anything touching the patient's face should be autoclaved. The gas flows this way. This is the inner hood. This is the outer. There's a little disc right there. So when I breathe in, it closes off because I have the mask is fitting all the way around my face, right? When I breathe out, pushes that valve open and takes the exhalated gas into where the suction is. Gas is in here, suction's in here. In the bottom it says adult. You can't really see it, but it does. And then it says adult in the bottom of this as well. There's a dash and an equal sign, a dash and an equal sign, because they're very similar, but there is a little nose section here. So you want to first make sure that the disc is there. The disc will pop out like that so easily. If you're wiping this off or something and then it pops out, then you have to put it back in. There's a crossbar with a hole, and you want to stretch it a little bit and put the stem back in. If you have your glasses on and you can see. All right, there we go. Now it's back in. The stem has a little ridge that is keeping it on the inside of the hole. But if it's missing, and you get 3 of these with 1 of these, so you should have 3 inserts here, I'm sure, somewhere, and 1 outer hood. When you're putting them together though, this piece is connecting with this piece until it snaps, but not during the demo. It never snaps. Okay, And you can look down through and make sure that the holes are lined up. There we go. Through these large holes, and just make sure that it's not off to the side. The reason is the gas is flowing through these two large tubes towards the inner mask. If this isn't connected well into the little receiver there, the gas can just get pulled away by the suction, which is in the two smaller tubings. Now when we put it on the patient's face, the inner mask touches all the way around, like I showed you before when I just had the outer hood sitting aside. You see how the inner mask is touching my nose? The outer hood has an air gap. We're in what city? Akron?
Mm-hmm.
In Akron, everybody wants the gas, so they're going to be like, oh no, I want all the gas, and they're going to hold it down. You say, okay, get back, Keisha, I'm head cheerleader, because it's not working. If you're pushing down on this, then it's not going to work, because the suction is pulling room air around the mask to take away what they're breathing out through the disc in the center. If you take away the air gap, the suction doesn't know. It's going to keep pulling, and it'll open that valve on the inner mask, and then it'll take all the gas out of the bag, and the bag will go flat. I've gone into offices before, and they say, well, patients don't feel it. Okay, show me what you're doing. So then they put it on the patient, and then they'll put their foot up here, and they'll crank this like this to the headrest, so that when the people leave, you see these ridges there? They've got tiger stripes on the side of their face. It's because it's down so tight, and nobody's getting it because the gas is getting sucked away. So don't do that. Just leave this thing down. The reason for this, if they're sitting up and it's falling off their face, you can tighten it up slightly, but not so tight that it's, or if they're looking to the right, you can make it set so that it faces that way, or the left. Just leave it down otherwise. I would look at and take a picture of, not right now, but later, how all these pieces go together. In case you want to autoclave it, then you can take it all apart, put it into separate bags, autoclave it, and then when it comes out, you'll know how it goes back together. It's pretty straightforward. The two small tubes go to one, two large tubes go to one. They connect here. Real straightforward. That's that non-rebreathing valve I was telling you about, right here.
So that whole thing comes off to get sterilized?
Doesn't happen.
Or
Could.
just the mouth?
Porter recommends that anything touching the patient should be sterilized. This hose is touching my face. They say you should. I'm their manufacturer's rep. I say you should. However, some offices wipe these off, and if you put a chemical on this and disinfectant and stuff, this will change color, get brittle, pick up a smell from the disinfectant, so it's a good idea to use a mild soap and water to wash that disinfectant off. If you decide you want to autoclave these, then think about it like I have this one in the autoclave and then I have another patient. I have to have another one of these. So you have to order another set of these, or two, because it can't come immediately out of the autoclave and go on the patient because it's pretty hot. But, any questions so far? Tell me.
Oh, no.
No, you're just talking about autoclaving them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think you would?
Probably.
Yeah. Just probably need a big bag, and
Well, you're
it's-
not doing all those hoses in the bag and all that shit every single
Not every time, just the part that's touching the patient, he said.
what I have seen some people do is order more of these tubings and more couplers. Then you can extend, you can cut them in half. You have two more sets of couplers and one set of hoses, and you could cut the new hoses in half and make them this long. And now they're touching the
my chair as
face.
far back in the room as I want.
Then you could have the chair over there by the TV.
Let's go.
All right, there you go. So
Right.
that's a good idea.
So that you're not having to do
Do
that
the whole
long
thing,
of a hose.
yeah.
That was a COVID situation. We realized that everybody wants to autoclave everything in 2020, and so we were like, how can we do this? And that's what we came up with. But
Does that autoclavable mask have like X amount of uses before it needs to be replaced?
if you only used mild soap and water and bagged it and autoclaved it, wash it, dry it, bag it, autoclave it, it should last for a long time because it's silicone and it's not really gonna pick up any of the smells and the disinfectants and things like that, but only if you're using a mild soap and water. If you use disinfectant and then autoclave it with the disinfectant on there, it will pick up the smell from that and it will turn brown and it will get more brittle and deteriorated. So mild soap and water should last for a long time. Good question. Who else? Anybody else? If these get loose, you just tighten them up. This is really tight. That's good.
Yeah,
But-
put that on there.
You did. There's a barb here that you could use for a nasal cannula. If you wanted just oxygen for a cannula, you could unscrew the bag T and have a barb here. There is a gasket inside of the bag T. You want to make sure it doesn't fall out. It's black. And then screw it back on.
If we go to that,
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, silhouette?
Silhouette.
Uh-huh.
is that, you said the bag is not on there then?
Yeah, what happens is we would take this off, you would, sorry, and then you would take this off, and then you would put the two tubings that are white that look like this, they're the similar size as this, and they would connect small and large. And then at the other end, they're 6 foot long, then the other end, this would plug into those tubings.
That'd
Try it.
be great to try it. And then how do we check that the flow is correct?
Good question, because you can't see the bag anymore
Yes.
moving. But if
Yeah.
you put the bag on there, the bag's just gonna be like this. Because you have this restricted size tubing, which will make the bag just overinflate, and it's not gonna work correctly.
Okay.
So you have to then follow the 4, 5, 6 more rigidly,
Okay.
because that's what 80% of the people fall into, 4,
Okay.
5, 6. Kids, women, men.
Kids, women, men,
4,
4,
5,
5,
6.
6.
Yeah.
And then how would you be indicated that you need to adjust for
Right.
the abnormal?
You put the
person.
person at 4, if it's a kid, or 5 or 6, and then you look at them. And if it looks like they're breathing okay, and you say, "You breathing okay? Everything good? You feel like you're getting enough?" "Yes." "Okay, that's the right spot." You're gonna hit pretty close at 5 or 6.
Okay.
And you're not seeing too many
And then
kids here,
this
I would
just
guess.
gets disposed.
Hmm?
This just gets disposed, the
Yeah.
whole thing. And
Yeah.
there's no autoclaving of anything.
It's so quick and easy. The time, electric, autoclave bags, labor, it's not free.
How much?
They used to be 14 or 15 a piece, and now they're like 8 retail.
$8
Mm.
per one?
And if you're charging 100 for the gas for a half-hour procedure, which you should be doing something,
I was gonna say, what's the regular
50
amount?
to 400. It really depends on what you want. There's an office that I go to, a doctor who does classes all over the country, and he charges like 400. It's so much per minute. And he can do it because he wants to. I guess it's what the market will bear.
We
But an
want
average
these.
is 75, 100.
Those are nice.
You want these?
Yeah,
Okay.
we want to get these.
See how easy
Don't
that
you
is,
think?
people?
Like,
This
right?
is so easy.
Yeah.
People
$8.
want this.
Can
It's
we,
not as bulky
can
as
we
this
throw
one.
in some capnography barbs?
Yeah, for sure. So the
I don't know what
capnography
he's
barbs,
saying, but yeah.
It's just like a little plastic adapter that you screw into this
you
part
just,
here.
the barb goes in
And then
here,
we've got the
and then
tubing
the
that
lure
goes on the
lock.
other side.
That connects to your
Oh,
monitor.
for you.
Yeah.
Yep,
So you
yep.
see this is a lure lock right here. That's for capnography measuring, that
Okay.
piece. And when you put the adapter into this, it has a little hole right here. And the barb would go into that, and then you have the other side will look just like this with the lure lock connection. So then you could take your hose from here to here and screw it on. And then when the patient's breathing out, it's immediately registering their CO2 output to your vital signs monitor. It's pretty cool. This was designed by an oral surgeon. So people say, well, there's an open hole here and there's 3 holes, isn't it all leaking out? So the suction has to pull, just like the mask that we talked about there. If you pull it down too tight, the suction's got to pull to take away the exhalated gas. So this has 3, and this was the 4th hole for allowing the air to be pulled in through the mask so that they can, number one, the suction can pull away what they're exhalating, it needs to have some airflow. And the other thing is, in the event that the gas ran out, they had a rubber dam in and the mask on, they could just breathe in room air through those holes. So it's a safety feature. It's not by accident, it's on purpose. You don't have to have this plugged if you're not using it. It's fine. But then once you put this on, make sure you put this over the ears and down the front. It doesn't go across the back like that. And then with the white tubings, they would have a clip that you can attach to their shirt and plug these tubings in. The difference with this tube or mask setup is, remember we talked about how it should be at the bottom of the green. So now what we're going to do is adjust this down to the lowest setting by volume and just a little bit more. Because think of it this way, you've got suction right here and gas right here, and if the suction is, it's got to go and miss the patient. It's got to go in this nostril, they breathe it, they do their thing, and then it comes out this side. But if you have the suction too high, they will never feel anything. So I turn it to the bottom and then just a little bit more, and that's plenty. It's going to take away what they're breathing in.
Bottom a little bit more.
By
The
volume.
bag was like the bottom of the green.
Yep. And you have to make this adjustment to the suction prior to plugging the white tubing to this clear tubing. Because as soon as we plug those two together, this sight glass and adjustment setup was designed to work with a larger size tubing. And since this tubing is smaller and restrictive, the ball will indicate at the top, like, oh, your max suction, but it's really hasn't changed. You're probably not following that. Is that right?
Well, you've
It's a
got
lot.
a lot. You're telling me
I'm
now.
telling you everything, all at once, all at the same time, and I'm expecting you to know and feed everything back to me, like you know
I'm
everything.
trying my best.
So again, this tubing is too small for this suction adjustment valve. It's designed to work with a larger tubing.
Yeah.
And if we plug this into the new silhouette tubing that's not here yet, we plug it in, the restriction of this tubing will say, hey, you're getting a lot of suction. The ball's going to go up. But nothing has changed because we haven't turned this knob up. It's still down low, but now the ball's up and we're, what do we do? Oh, we need to adjust it. So what we end up doing is making more suction.
Less gas.
And the ball is just right at the
They
top.
feel it even
Never
less.
changing, yeah, nothing's happening, it's just, now it's fuzzy. So just do it low before you plug the two tubings in, and then you're good. I'll give you that if I have it, if not, I'll have it sent here, and then you can put it on. I have a video on how to put it on.
And that part stays. Like the
This
what?
ABS
the other
stays?
stuff. So we'll need 3 of them because we have 3 rooms, but
Okay, yeah,
like we'll need to order 3.
for sure.
and then-
If I don't have 3, I'll just have them sent to you. I'll
Yeah.
put one on
Yep.
as an example,
Yep.
and then you can look at the video, and then it should be good.
Yep. If we.
But don't throw this out. This is
No.
more than $1,000 in parts. You don't want to throw it away.
Yeah, we could still.
If
do
somebody
it.
has a deviated septum and they can't breathe through their right nostril, they can't use the silhouette.
Okay.
They need to use this type of stuff.
Okay.
And then to put it back on, it just slips back. There's a vacuum and a mask port here on the side. Vac, mask. And what I tell people typically to do is write on here on the tubing mask. And if you had a tubing like this that was going down into the cabinet, you would write vacuum on this tubing. So you can, when they fall off, you can say, oh, that's what it always happens. It's like, oh, 50-50 shot, let me put it on this way. You can make those scented or the silhouette scented by just taking a little chapstick and dab a little bit and then it's scented. Well, you guys have been a great crowd. Thank you for watching and subscribing. Hit the like button. And no, again, nobody minds being on YouTube. Can I get a yell out? Yay! Thanks. All right. Thanks, Phoebe. Appreciate you.
So these are on.
Hi again.
Okay, I'm turning the gases on here in the room, and we're going to force the tanks to switch over. So let's go walk back to the tank room.
It said, we don't be at 1:30.
So everything is on here, and it's lit up the way it should be. you know it's drawing from tank 2 and tank 2. So we're gonna follow the hose, tank 2, turn it off, and same for the oxygen. You wanna turn off the 2, the other way, there you go. Now, what'll happen is the gauge went down there, and this gauge went down, and then these will go down. It'll take a minute because you have a huge office with lots of plumbing, so there's gas throughout the whole place, and so it'll take a second for it to bleed out. But you can see this is going down, and that will go down soon. But then once it reaches the line, we'll hear the beep, and then it will wait about 30 seconds, and then it will close off the one tank and start blinking, and the other tank will come on. And then that will be solid, this will be blinking. Same with this one. Hear the alarm? Okay. So the reason it doesn't immediately switch over is because you might have 10 operatories and you turn all the flow meters on at the same time, and it dipped. So it waits about 30 seconds. So now it just switched over. Now it's drawing from tank 1 and tank 2 is empty, quote unquote.
And that's why it's blinking.
Yep, and then the same thing is going to happen to this one eventually. The nitrous is heavier, so it goes down quicker. A little out of adjustment. Oh,
Right, and it filled back up on the blue.
yeah, but it should be at the 50, so I'm going to make that change. You keep watching that. I'm going to get a tool.
Should I come with?
No, you stay there.
Okay.
Thanks. Hear the beep?
Yeah.
Okay, it's switching. So this is on
There now.
1. So we're going to adjust 1. The gas is flowing in the room. This is a little bit below the 50. The reason that I'm able to make the adjustment, I'm slowly turning it. I'm going to just bring it right up to the 50. All right, now we're going to tighten it back down.
That's not
And-
something we handle.
Nope, this one's good. So now the gas company has come back, is in the future. They put a new tank here. They're going to slowly open it. Same with this one. Slowly open till the pressure comes up, and then you can turn as fast as you want. Now we have 4 new tanks. Push reset, and now it's going to stay at 1 and 1.
Okay.
Yep. So now it's drawing from 1 and 1. This one and this one. Here and here. Okay?
Yes.
You guys are great.
Thanks, guys. Bye. Yeah, it is.
All good. Back on 1.
Yep, and then at nighttime you'll turn this off, and then the tanks. It's like reverse. You don't gotta do it about it. Yeah.
I just wondering.
So in the morning you need the pressure for the panel, and then at night you want to turn off the panel and then the.
Yep, now we turn those off. But we have to have them flowing in order to make it change, because the gas has to come out. It won't go down unless it comes out. He's golfing this afternoon.
He's golfing. Yeah, he is.